maybe 39-35. At halftime to a 16, no shame in that. As long as you come back to win.
Was that
KU did
Kansas
that.
Holy Cross in 02.
Oh, I can't tell. I saw so many people at that game, walking around at halftime.
Kirk Heinrich was hobbled.
Yeah, and if Kansas fans are just freaking out. Oh, we're going to lose.
Kirk's
hurt.
The last two times Kansas was a 1 seed was Arizona, followed by Rhode Island.
Back then, they've been a 1 seed.
No, prior to 02, yeah. What I'm saying is they'd had a rough stretch of 1 seed.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Leading up to that Holy Cross game.
It is the lesser teams are better now.
Right, and the number 1 seeds are worse. I mean, it's just true.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I mean, they're teams back in the, teams like from 96 or 97 or some of those Kentucky teams or whatever, or Kansas teams, they're loaded with just like the Kansas team of even 08, that had like 9 NBA players on it.
Who were they? 2 Morrises.
Right.
Is Aldridge on that?
I think all of them.
08.
08? What team are you talking about? I don't know.
The championship. Well, the championship.
He said 08.
No, I didn't mean 08. I meant, 08.
You mean 08, the championship
Yeah, because
team?
they had guys coming off the bench like Cole Aldridge. And
they had Darrell Arthur.
Right.
And Mario, the only guy who had a prolonged NBA productive career was Mario Chalmers. Brandon Rush was coming off the bench for a little bit. Darrell Arthur grabbed a check for a lot of different teams.
Right.
And here ended the story.
Right. Well, Cole Aldridge was on that team. He played in the NBA. I think he was a number 1 draft choice for the Knicks.
He was. He was
not number 1 overall.
No.
First round.
No, he was a first round. He was a lottery pick. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Cole.
So they had guys. I mean, they had.
But Darnell Jackson and Sasha Khan and who was like Darrell Arthur started with.
I know they set the record.
Khan and Jackson came off the bench, and Cole Aldridge came off behind them.
And,
they set the record for most draft picks in the 2-round era, and it's since been broken. But only, I mean, 4 of those guys spent more time in Europe than anything.
And even the 2-time All-American. I mean, he got drafted in the 2nd round. But what's his name? The guard,
Sharon Collins.
Russell Robinson.
No,
Sharon Collins.
I'm confusing a different KU team. No, but Sharon Collins was an All-American, and he didn't get drafted.
Right.
And Russell Robinson didn't get drafted. So I think you're inflating
right.
the talent.
They aren't really the team I was talking about. I'm talking
which one?
I'm talking more about the late 90s. When you're talking about late 90s Kentucky team, the Mashburn teams, and teams like that, those teams were loaded. I mean, the elite programs like Duke and, even Kansas in their 96 team that lost with.
How many pros did they have?
I don't know.
LaFrance,
I think the whole starting 5 played extensively in the NBA.
Miles wasn't there. Pollard was there.
Miles wasn't on that team?
Aaron Miles? No, he was
not Aaron Miles. Who was the point guard?
Jacques Vaughn.
Jacques Vaughn. He played a decade in the NBA.
Yeah, no, I know because I'm like, that's who I was thinking. That's Jacques Vaughn.
Pollard, LaFrance,
Pierce. Then 02 you had.
Wait a minute. I just want to be clear because when people are like, they're the worst ever, and I'm like, well, no, let's actually look at it. And you're like, they were loaded with pros. Okay, we've named 4. Loaded with pros is like 9.
Well, there were 4 significant pros. I'm not going to bring up their roster and look at the bench too, but I'm sure they had guys who came.
I don't disagree with your point, but I just think hyperbole to try to make it is unnecessary. Those teams were better, but there weren't 9 pros.
But the talent is more spread out across.
I think there was,
and
they're gone. A lot of them are gone and don't ever get there. Still,
I think
even with the one and done, they don't.
I think I could probably find a Kentucky or a Duke team where all the starters played in the NBA, and then 3 or 4 of the bench guys.
I think if you went back to like the, but again, yes, that played in the NBA.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If you get to the Avery, Elton Brand, Corey Maggette. Mm-hmm. Trajan Langdon, that Duke team,
right?
I think you're right. I think you probably got to get back into the 90s.
Yeah. I think
that to be true.
I think so.
But again, back to the original point, you were making these statements 3 years ago.
No, when was the first time it happened? That's a long time now.
No, Virginia happened right before the pandemic, right? That was the last
2018
before the pandemic.
That would be 6 years ago.
Okay, so that.
So I said it. Yeah,
and then you promptly announced it would never happen again.
Well,
and you were right for a few years.
It must have been here because somebody else was gone from the scene after 18. Gone from the airwaves.
Yeah.
So,
yes, you did say it with me.
Okay, I must have, yes. I still think it's a shame. It's a shameful, horrible performance. But these teams just aren't as powerful. They just aren't. The best teams aren't as good.
Let's take a break. I want to talk about the Big 12 Media Days. A little Danny Unleashed. Danny Clink Scale brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, Kansas City's best when it comes to making sure the roof over your family's head, the roof over your business head is in tip-top shape. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. They service the entire metro area, including Lawrence and Topeka. It's Easton Roofing, online at eastonroofing.com.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Hey Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing, back for another beautiful springtime in Kansas City. We are proud to announce our renewed partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kansas City. Starting in 2024, a portion of every job sold will be donated to a cause close to my heart. I was a big, and I encourage you to volunteer. And if you hire us for service on your residential or commercial roof, you'll know that a portion of the profits will go to a great cause. So call us at 913-257-5426. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
Danny, this time next week, training camp will be off and running.
Unbelievable. Excitement level at fever pitch, which it should be.
It should be, and then we've got 3 teams. I don't know if all 3 of them are going to be ranked. Mizzou's going to be ranked. I think K-State will be ranked. I don't know if KU will make the rankings. But 3 teams in college football that all have expectations of winning a minimum of 8 games.
And I think the fans are genuinely excited about their team. They're excited about their quarterback. It's like their coach, their quarterback. Most of the time, somebody is moaning and groaning and wants the backup quarterback. Right now, think of how a difference a year makes or something. Brady Cook, boy, you could have held a parade down, through the campus for Brady. No. But now you could.
Like, if we fast forward to September of last year, Eli Drinkwitz was at the podium claiming people were booing Brady Cook at the K-State game.
Right.
And now I think he played that up to, look, I'm behind my quarterback.
You mean Eli Drinkwitz?
Who did I say?
Chris Kleiman.
Yes, I'm sorry, Eli Drinkwitz.
Right.
Claimed that they were, claimed that they were booing his quarterback. That Mizzou fans were booing his quarterback. And I had friends down there that are Mizzou fans. They're like, no, it was K-State fans that were kind of booing, because there were plenty of K-State fans that made that trip. And they're like, yeah, we didn't really even know. Like, he said that? That was their reaction. I said, yeah, he acted like he was chastising the Mizzou fans.
But there are a lot. He was not the people's choice.
No, but that's my point. Is look at how far we've come even from then.
I know. It's amazing. A year going into the season, he was, oh, really? That's our quarterback?
Yeah, we were into the season. And then they even had kind of a uneven performance against directional Tennessee. Was it Middle Tennessee or one of them? And they won, but it wasn't this is incredible. And people were still going I don't know.
Right.
And, they just felt, which I give great credit to Eli Drinkwitz, for the team got better. But beating K-State when they beat them was a hell of an accomplishment, as it turns out. Because K-State was good.
Yes. And these teams are good. And what we're talking about is how important that position is going to be for these teams this year.
And let's not forget, Eli got better. Do you remember they almost botched they were kicking from 60 because he goofed the clock. The clock was running, and he lost track of what was going on.
There was a lot going on at the end of that game.
So, that could have been, if that goes south, how different does, the quarterback's not celebrated, Eli's a boob.
Right, you don't know, because momentum is a very important thing, and especially in a college football team, I think, that kind of confidence. And now you've got Avery Johnson, and he looks like he's going to be an electric performer, but he kind of looks like the type of guy who might get hurt to me.
He just looks. They list him at 6'2", 188.
It doesn't look like it, does it? First of all, he doesn't look 6'2".
And he definitely doesn't look 188.
No, he does not. He does not. And then Jalen Wilson, can you really?
And by the way,
Jalen
188
Daniels.
small already.
Jalen Daniels.
And no, I was going to ask you, how many games does Jalen Daniels play? What would you put the over-under
You can't in
at?
your right mind expect more than 8 or, because it hasn't happened.
I would almost take, if you offer me 8 or roll the dice, I'd almost take 8.
I think so.
Would you?
If they were the right 8, I guess. But, maybe he misses a couple here or there. What you don't want is he plays 8 and then he's done, I guess. That wouldn't be good. But no, you can't predict that. He's been hurt his whole time, and it's a core injury. It's his back. You get hurt, your back gets hurt when you're young. That's a lifetime sentence. Nobody doesn't have back problems anymore when they had them when they're young. Period. So you just hope you do have this. That doesn't mean he can't have a season where he plays every game. If he does, then they should be hell on wheels. They should be good because they've proved they can be good even without him.
Yeah, if you're K, I agree with you. I agree with everything you said there. But like Phil Simms couldn't stay healthy till he did, and then he did stay healthy.
Yeah, that's true. Yes,
there are those guys that like, oh my God. Matt Stafford was supposedly always hurt. Then he played every game for like 7 years, 8 years.
Who knows? Maybe Byron Buxton will go 162 for the next 5 years.
No chance. No chance on that one.
Probably not on that one.
I'm confident. He and Adalberto Mondesi are not staying healthy. Oh, is Mondesi even in baseball?
I don't know.
I know his father's not. He's in jail.
He's in jail, yeah.
But, Adalberto even in an organization right now?
I thought the last transaction involving him was the Red Sox DFAing him.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I'd have to look. I don't even know. I don't know. That's a
There's a blast from the past, huh?
Yeah,
Let's finish on an up note. Hey, how about that Adalberto Mondesi days?
Yeah, I think everybody in the Royals organization would like to forget him too, because they were riding that train. They were on that train. They weren't getting off. And he's going to be a star. And
do you remember when it was compared to the two most electric players in baseball and football right here, Patrick Mahomes and Adalberto Mondesi?
And now that actually might be
they
true.
got one. Now they got the right one.
Now with Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, it might indeed.
But
we
it
get
was
to
not
watch him hit.
Adalberto
We
Mondesi.
get to watch him hit some home runs in the home run derby.
I don't know. This is his hot month. He's going to get going.
Yeah, well, it's a derby. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Danny, great stuff. Appreciate it, buddy. Talk next week.
Always fun.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Joe Spiker and his team are the best in the business for all your roofing needs, handled with honesty and craftsmanship. Visit them at eastonroofing.com.